Hey guys, this is Adrian from PDC. We're back again with another video. This time we're looking at Katakuri versus Purple Luffy. Sorry for the delayed videos again. We're going to have lots more content coming up. Awakening of the New Era is officially upon us. That means OP5 leaders are tournament legal. Purple Luffy, Sakazuki, NL. Yeah, it's going to be really fun, but let's dive right into it. And we can go talk about the matchups, the playthroughs, all that stuff. So Purple Luffy is really interesting. Dude, I think it's like one of the top 3 decks in this format. It's able to essentially play extremely aggressively as well as very consistently. Its leader ability is that it can, after 3 Don, once per turn, it can take 1 life and ramp 1 Don onto their cost area. So that means they can pull all sorts of shenanigans, like going second, they can do turn 2 Magellan 5 cost. They can get to Poly a lot faster. They can pull out Kaido much earlier in the game. Just a lot of Dom manipulation that really makes this deck, I would say, a limit beater, right? A lot of decks, in order to compete, have to play at a certain speed and be aggressive enough to counteract Purple Luffy. So Katakuri, not too much to say about Katakuri, right? It's a strong deck, and I'd say at least top 5 in the format. It remains to be seen how much success Katakuri will have in 04 here in the English, the Western side. What I can say is Katakuri has the same gameplay throughout OP3, 4, 5, so now 3 formats in a row, except for the fact that Yellow consistently gets more and more support. So that's crazy. All right, let's hop right into the game. So as you can see, Purple Luffy, pretty much ramps as soon as it can, and it ramps twice. So it's essentially a 3 life leader, but it has access to a lot of Don. Over on the Katakuri side, you can see that he didn't really have a really good turn 2 play, so he just chose to swing twice, 5k on putting in 5k on leader. That's really what you want to do against Purple Luffy early on. You know that they're going to take 2 life to ramp, and so you just want to swing at them. And you want them to take a Don, or take a life, which puts them down a little bit lower when they do end up ramping. But over on Purple Luffy's side, he counters out successfully, and then he plays a 5 cost Kid. That's essentially, I think that's one of Kid's best plays outside, like it's Kid or it's Magellan, right? And now is when the party starts, right? Because for now that Kid is on play, whenever Luffy plays a card that does a minus Don effect, Kid can bring that Don back active, essentially giving Luffy an extra Don to work with for the turn. So Katakuri knows that, and so Thunderbolt to blow it up and lose a life. That's a great target for a Thunderbolt. I think that was a really good play. So Katakuri now double swings 5/5. It's a bit aggressive what Katakuri is doing. I'm a bit surprised, but it is a very good play. Essentially forcing Luffy to diminish his hand size, so that later on when he does decide to ramp, he gets even lower. Maybe he doesn't even ramp this game, right? He doesn't do a second ramp because he's lost so much of his hand size. So Luffy swings for 5. Let's see. If we take a look at Katakuri's hand, it's not the greatest either. I think what Yellow is afraid of the most, because nowadays they play a lot of 2k counters, is that their hand is full of it, right? So here in his hand, he has two Beiges, 1 Shiroshi, 1 Brule, and a 10 cost Big Mom. It's not much that's playable in the hand. Here I would probably give up Brule, just because Poly is active on Purple side. There's really no point in playing the small blockers. Sanji is also a bit less effective in this matchup as well. And so yeah, just as predicted, Poly comes up and auto ramps 1. So I think Luffy is fine here. I don't think he needs to ramp again. Could have been mistaken. He could have ramped twice already. Let's see what Dawn Cat is at. 2, 4, 6, 8. Yeah. So 7k swing, he's finally able to look at his life. That's something that Katakuri opted not to do earlier on, just for the sake of early regression. Yeah, so not because his hand is so dead, Katakuri is basically forced to play Shirahoshi. Shirahoshi is sort of like a last hurrah, right? Like, you don't have anything to play, you need to fix your hand, and so you play Shirahoshi, hoping that, you know, at least for the next turn you have something to play. And it doesn't seem like, let's see what he draws, and he ends up discarding the Brule and the 2 million vaults. I think discarding 2 million vaults is a big information tell, because usually that's kind of the card you need to finish people off. Perhaps in this purple Luffy matchup, 2 million vaults isn't very useful, just because most of purple's blockers are 5 cost and above. 2 million vaults only targets 4 cost blockers and below, and rests them. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Okay, so yeah, the scariest part about purple Luffy is when he gets a 10 Don, he can just play 2 big blockers and build up that wall, and also build up a huge board with 6Ks. It's so hard to respond, because every time you have to swing for 6. If you commit too much, then he just blows you away with Kaido. It's tough. Alright, so Katakuri is still in a good spot. You know, 4 cards in life. What I've noticed in this meta is that a lot of Katakuris prefer countering out early and keeping their life for some reason. You know, I'm a little bit of a gambler, so I like seeing what triggers come out. But another counter from Beige, and Luffy swings for 5, and he ends up taking. I think what he didn't want to do at that moment is, you know, get swing for 6 and then get swung for 7 and take 2 life. Maybe he didn't want to go down to 2 life this turn. So Pero comes out, you know, he drops a Satoshi to bring it out. And here I think purple Luffy has so many options. Wow. You could do a double queen. You could do a kid. And I think if he's preparing for Kaido, he could even play double kids. That'd be really interesting. But I think he's aiming for that, you know, draw 2, trash 1. You know, essentially a +1. Okay, kid comes out. Oh, let's see what he ends up doing. It's very interesting. He's got a great hand. All right, kid and queen. So able to Don -1 to draw 2 and trash 1, and then using kid's ability to ramp again. Magellan here at 10 Don, you know, I think a little bit useless, so that gets trashed. And yeah, 1 Don up. And then, yeah, Katakuri at this point is in the backseat. You know, he really needs to. Something has to happen here. All right, a 6K swing at Poly, or life. Probably at life at this point. I would like to see what's in Yellow's hand right now. Hopefully a Katakuri or something. 7K swing. Yeah, so Luffy countered that out, and another 7K swing, and here comes the blocker, and probably another 2K counter. There we go, 2K counters. All right, 8, and the 7 mom comes out, and and purple Luffy opts to take that life. So guys, when this happens pretty much every game in every Katakuri matchup now, is when your opponent gets down to 2 life, and then the Katakuri plays small mom. So when that happens and the opponent's at 2 life and you play that and they decide to take the life, they're giving you the information that they don't think this game is gonna last very long, right? So here comes the power move from purple Luffy. It's only when they give you the life where you should feel really confident, because it means that they haven't set up their win conditions to kind of control the board or just to, like, get you down to 0 and swing you for game. But I think with the cards that we see from Purple Luffy's hand, I think he can definitely push for the win here. My vote is on Purple Luffy to win this one. If I saw this game state a turn ago. So Paulie swings 6, probably at life, ignoring the Perospero. I think Perospero right now is acting as like a pseudo blocker, but you don't really want to swing into it. That's the kind of mistake that I and many others have made, is that later in the game you spend a swing hitting at Perospero, and then they get a really good card like a Big Mom or Katakuri off of it, and the game just swings the other way because of that. So at this point, you probably just want to keep building the board, get some blockers on, and keep pressuring life. So another queen being played, another +1 to the hand, and because of Kid's effect, he gets that Don right back. So essentially, every turn, Luffy, because of the 5-cost Kid, Luffy is playing with 11 Don. So it's just hyper efficient. Let's see. Let's see what options he has. So he has 6 Don up. Law is kind of useless right now, and he's not able to play the 7-cost Kid. He's probably just gonna play the. He can play one more Kid blocker, but he could also swing pretty hard. So I think that's what he's deciding. Yeah, is it more worthwhile to swing hard, or because even if he swings, he can put all his Don on one of the blockers and he'll still have 2 up and be very, very safe for the next turn. Yeah, it's a hard decision, but we don't really know what, or from his side, he doesn't know what Katakuri has either. But I think 6 swing. 7s. Oh no, come on. Okay. I think the right play here is just to 6 swing and develop with another Kid. I don't know. This is a hard move. I think we would have to look back on it and analyze it. Oh, okay. So 6 swing into life, and wow, Katakuri takes this, right? That is interesting. So that's exactly what Purple Luffy wanted. I assume that he thought, hey, if you have that 2k counter, use it right now. Katakuri has 3k in counter in their hand, and then a dead Perospero. And he triggered a 2 million volts. 2 million volts trigger, for anyone that doesn't know, is it's essentially a Ikoku Sovereignty, or an era where you trash 2 and put 1 back into life from your deck. So I think he uses this effect. Oh no, sorry. That was a Sanji trigger. Very nice. Okay. I thought that was I thought that was 2 million volts just because of the graphic on the screen. All right, Sanji trigger is not what you want to see at this point, but it's really good for yellow. All right, and I think Purple is glad they didn't full commit to this, because that would have been really scary. So a 4th blocker developed on board, and so even if Purple was at 0 life, I think they'd feel very comfortable. I think at this point it's very clear what yellow has to do. One of the options is developing with a Big Mom, and getting Purple down to 0 life. And then the other is putting Don and committing on a lot of swings with 4 blockers up on the board. Yeah, I think Big Mom is like the clear answer. But yeah, and then a swing for 8 and taking one of those blockers and passing turn. Yeah, I think it was. So the question here is for Purple Luffy is, can he survive another turn? Right? I like the game's gone to the point where every player understands their win conditions and that they are always setting up for a lethal turn. And until they get there, they like no one is supposed to commit, right? Like even at this stage, you're thinking, can I get to the point where if I commit fully, I have a like 99% chance to win? And if the answer is no, then you try to think about, can I survive the next turn and what can I do to increase my chances? So at this point, he's probably thinking, if I commit all of my Don and swing 5 times, can I get, can I win the game? And for yellow, he has 2 life, one last life from the leader, and then 1 blocker. So you need to swing successfully 4 times, and I think that's a pretty hard ask, right? Because you have Beijing Trigger, you have another Sanji, you have the 2 million volts. There's a lot of things that can, yellow's scary, and because if they trigger well, they just kind of win the game. They kind of steal it from you. The cool thing is, even if he doesn't fully commit, I think he can play purple, can play the 7 cost kid and get himself up to 6k, and then use kid to ramp the Don back, and then play the 4 cost law blocker. I think what he's scared of is probably 2 million volts. If that were the case, he does not have Kaido. Like if purple Luffy had Kaido right now, he'd just win the game. It'd just be over, right? He'd just play it, pop the Sanji, and just swing 6 times and win the game. But I think the important thing now is I would say to just swing once and test the waters. Oh, he has Poly too. Okay, sorry. I also Poly 7-3. If he does Poly, he needs to keep up 3 blockers. It's tough. I actually don't know if Poly's the right play here. If it were me, I think I would just swing. Okay, and the Poly comes out and pops the Sanji. I would even go so far as to say I would try to swing once and then bait the life take, and if he takes life, then you do the Poly, and you basically just win the game. But this is good. Swings 5, and then he probably does a 9 swing and gets the opponent down to 1 life, and then next turn he's going for lethal. So I think this is a great play as well. I just think the sequencing could have been a little bit better. Okay, and then a 6 swing from Poly. So this is a little dangerous, but I understand the thought process behind it, right? If he swings 6 and the opponent takes life, he doesn't commit Dawn. If there's a trigger out, then Purple Luffy just passes turn and he keeps 3 blockers up. So because he kept 3 blockers up, or because there was no trigger in life, he's like, okay, my 3rd blocker can now safely swing. So a 7k swing, and he's forced to counter. Oh, he's going for it. 7k swing, double 7k swing. Wow. Whoa, that was major cojones. Oh. Jeez. That was nuts. That's not what you typically see from like a Japanese player. I think probably Purple Luffy had a great call on Katakuri's hand, knowing that he has a couple of dead cards in hand. I think he searched for the Big Mom, and that's why Purple Luffy knew that one of his cards was dead. There was also a lot of tell from the way they were playing, like the 6 swings that were able to take life. Probably Purple Luffy said, okay, because you took that, I know you're low on counters, and so if if I 7k swing you twice, I win the game. I still disagree with that. Like, there was no chance that he would lose the next game, the next turn. Maybe we gotta look at it a little bit more deeply, but that was sort of a risk, but the risk paid off, and so congratulations to the Purple Luffy. We're gonna explore a lot more matchups, right? I think NL is something that I'd like to look into next. But yeah, all these decks, Purple Luffy, Sakazuki, Katakuri, NL, they're all fighting for the best deck in format. And I think it's gonna be interesting to see how the Western scene takes it, because we are more red orientated. So Zoro, Whitebeard, I think they might have a larger presence over on our side. But yeah, thank you guys for watching this, and I'll see you next time. Peace.